This week, we have told you about some of the devastating impacts of fentanyl as it's being bought and sold around North Dakota. Tonight, in part 3 of our series, Killer in Blue, we meet one man who almost died from fentanyl and was given a way to put his life back together.
Check on these again real quick. About 30 seconds on those.
There's such a thing as too many cooks in the kitchen.
About a half a lemon zest. Flip them a little bit.
But Michael Sloan is right where he needs to be.
Food run.
After a few months on the job, Sloan knows the menu.
These are used for certain salads that we have.
And is fitting right in at this downtown Bismarck restaurant.
And that's one of the more simpler things we do here.
But Sloan's life wasn't so simple last winter.
I'd had enough. I was tired of breaking the law. I was tired of dealing drugs. I was tired of using drugs, and I was just tired. I didn't want to live anymore.
It was February 18th of last year when Sloan checked himself into a Bismarck hotel room. Sloan says he packed enough fentanyl and his plan was to die by overdose. What Sloan didn't know was that evening he was about to get a visit from Bismarck police and a parole and probation officer.
You just don't want to feel sick. You don't want to feel sick. You do want to take that feeling away, so you'll do whatever you can to not feel bad. And it's an awful thing. It's terrible stuff.
Sloan was arrested and sent to jail, a familiar place. But unlike his previous drug abuse, this time Sloan would receive inpatient treatment at the Heartview Foundation.
So if anyone's ever had influenza and somebody said to them, well, if you just take this pill, it will all stop. There's nobody that wouldn't take the pill, right? We want to feel better.
Within a few months, Sloan was accepted into drug court with a chance to clean up his life.
There is no short-term fix for this problem. And so we just want people to stay engaged with us and keep coming through those doors. And even if people are making small changes along the way, eventually those small changes add up to big changes and people can reclaim their lives.
He's been able to move up and beyond, and he really self-educates himself. And that's really commendable for him. And I think he's really benefited from that, and he's become a role model for other participants. So he's been doing an excellent job.
Judge Pamela Nesfig is one of the people in charge of drug court in Bismarck.
We don't see a whole lot of good when we come to court as judges each and every day. This is the highlight of my week.
She says despite the smiles and applause, it is possible to fail at this.
It's my pleasure then to graduate you from drug court.
For Judge Nesfig, every graduation is a victory when people gain back freedom in their own lives.
And you got a temporary restricted license?
Yep.
Not anymore.
Okay.
I'll sign an order so you get your license back.
Okay.
You completed the
Oh yeah, these are done too.
Sloan is now closer to graduating and sticking to a routine that keeps him busy and his mind off drugs.
But the draw to it will always be there. You know, it's the constant daily battle of you know, it's just one day at a time. I can't tell you that I'm going to be sober for the rest of my life, but I can tell you that I'm sober today.
This is where you'll find Sloan 5 or 6 days a week, just a few city blocks from the Heartview Foundation. But you could also say he's come miles in his recovery.
It's time to formulate a life plan, and you know, and I'm 42 years old. My birthday was in January. I know my life's not over anymore.
And for Sloan, that's a win for now. Sloan told me he still does not know who called police that night he was in the hotel, but says if he ever finds the person, he would like to thank them. Meanwhile, it gets better for Sloan. He says he'll graduate from drug court in a few months, and he is engaged to be married. He says he hopes to go back to school and eventually become a licensed addiction counselor.